Hello and good evening. It is me, the man speaking to you, as normal. Uh, I decided to do something different. I'm going to talk about video games that I played and then just talk about them to you with no formatting or script. So, I just finished Half Life episodes 1 and 2. I'm pretty far behind the game by, came out 2007. By like 15 years. Oh my god. I have never had a game kill my soul so quickly and fast. I beat Half Life 2 in one day. Half Life Episode 2 in one day, but I beat Half Life Episode 1 in 2. I started playing, each one took like about 3 hours, just to be clear. I spent $1 on each. Ow, my soul. I now understand where people are coming from, because until now, I just knew some things happened. I knew that, well, I'm talking about the game, so I knew that Eli would die. I knew that something was going on with a thing called the Borealis. But oh my god, this hurts. This is now physically painful. Um, Ow. I have never had a game that made me stop playing, sit back in my chair, sit for 5 minutes, stand up and go, oh, okay, 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 walk out of my room, go downstairs, and consider walking out the door into the cold of winter. That's what actually happened as soon as I was done. Like, I'll just walk out and never come back. Oh, this hurts. It's been so long and there hasn't been a third one. It doesn't even have to be that good anymore. It just has to come out. We just need an overall conclusion to the story. No, see, because I stopped playing at Half-Life 2 beforehand. I played it, I finished it, and I was like, okay, that's a good conclusion. And then I picked up from where it left off. That's the only appropriate way to say it at this point. Is a series of unintelligent words of disgust and rage at the lack of a conclusion to this essentially amazing story. I should talk about my history with Half-Life. At least, I think I should. 2015, I believe, was when I first played Half-Life 2. I skipped the first one entirely because it came out really long ago. And I'll be honest, at that time, the reason why the third Star Wars movie was my favorite was because it looked the nicest. I just looked at it and I enjoyed it. I didn't understand that. I wasn't following the story. I was looking at cool flashing lights and how like the overall picture looked. I regret that now because number 5 is the best one considered by the populace. So I'll just say that's my favorite one too. Number 3 is still my favorite though. I would go on to play Half-Life, the first one, about 4 to 5 years after. I it's too long. It looks pretty old, I'll be honest. I've recently acquired Black Mesa, the remastered version. I'll be trying it. I just hope it's good. So that was about 2 to 3 years ago is when I played Half-Life. And I finally acquired episodes 1 and 2 after some debate with myself of whether or not I should. And I now played them, and I now hate it. I hate it so much. Oh my god, my soul. I really just can't express that enough as simply how much this has hurt me. It's such a good story, and it really does deserve to be finished in some capacity. And I'm really just not happy that Gabe Newell hasn't made the push for it. it really is just anything happening. That's really what we want. I should move on now to Partisans 1941 at about the halfway minute mark, at the halfway mark, hopefully. Partisans 1941 is a game simply about the German invasion of Russia in World War II and your partisan group trying to hold them off. Like, just do actions behind the lines. It's a really interesting, this is why I loved it so much, is that it's such an interesting concept to go, like, into that situation. It seems interesting to me that partisans aren't often considered a major part of the Second World War when they were essentially almost required for the Russians to win. The problem I found is that it is just insanely fucking hard on even the easiest difficulty. Undescribably difficult. I went to that game clicking, easy because it was like, oh, this is what you should do for your first time. I'm like, oh, sure. I'll play this again immediately afterwards and I'll probably have my normal time. No, that was hard. It was a lie. Okay, this is another thing to understand about me, because there is no backstory I should get into. I have been Call of Duty World at War on veteran difficulty all the way through. On Call of Duty 2, like the original Call of Duty 2, I beat about half of it on veteran, the other half in normal to hardened. I have beat Halo Reach on, what is it? Is it also called veteran, or is it called like legend? It's called legendary. I beat that on legendary. I tried to go back to the other ones on harder difficulties, but like, Halo 1, that's a no. Halo 3, that's pretty hard still. Halo 2, good God, no. Halo 4, who plays Halo 4 to enjoy it? The actual question. Really, who plays Halo 4? But with Partisans 1941, even on the easiest difficulty, you are essentially going into the most difficult situation I think imaginable, regardless of the difficulty. Simply put, I'll put it like this. Imagine having a knife in a gunfight, and the guy knows you have a knife and that you can't bluff. It is that hard to win. This is the only game where I have quick saved at every at every single time it's possible. I have quick saved. And they take that away from you on the hardest difficulty. You can't quick save on the hardest one. I have never before in any game quick saved. This has broken me. Oh, it's broken me. Partisans 1941, I personally found the story really enjoyable. It was probably because I gave the characters my own special ideals. I created like this own like personal interweaves, but otherwise there was always they programmed something to always being done. A character would always have something to say. The game stretches for about 45 days. You do something every week, so there's about 7 missions. Plus the first 2 on the first day, so I think that means there's either 9 or 10 missions. The ones that I remember the most were the first one, which is to blow up a tank. That was the first one I can really remember, besides the opening, because the opening was just, it was to teach you, and I played through that one for quite a bit to learn some of the mechanics. The first one that was really interesting was blowing up a tank, because the compound doesn't really offer you a lot of cover coming in, and it was hard to figure out. The second one was a bridge sequence where you have to cross the bridge to blow it up. And I looked at that one and I remember it because it was so unbelievably like you walking across an open bridge with 3 guys. It's going to be impossible in the hardest difficulty. They also made the first bit a little bit unfair because they have like 40 guys in the span of 2 areas. And there's only 3 on the other side. Just do the math. It's really hard. They stacked them all in one place. The most difficult, there was the windmill section, because My first run didn't go so good, and the second one was... I didn't quite figure out that you should just go through the village. I went around, snuck around, and so all like 50 guys stormed a single windmill. That was a bad day. There was the prison break section, which was insanely fun to do. It was hard at first. Once I got inside, it was a little bit easier. But essentially, at no point can you can never get caught in that mission, and that makes it very hard. But I did give relevance to a character that I wasn't using too much. I guess that's all I could really say about that. It was. I don't recommend it unless you want to have a bad time. Like if you're one of those gamers that like just slog through something and then feel the achievement when you finally win it, that is the game for you. But for everyone else, don't do it. I guess that's all I'll talk about today. Just to get something up. Alright. This is it. See ya.